they've had vastly different NFL careers. Now, I will be honest, shocked, appalled, stunned, flabbergasted, if you will, to see Trevor Lawrence sign that deal at this junction in time.
Me too.
Not surprised to see him sign it at some point. Maybe sign it if you would have had a phenomenal season. But y'all know what they say about the market. You buy low. They bought incredibly high. $55 million average annual value. That is just as much as Joe Burrow. It doesn't necessarily reset the market, but for all intents and purposes, it does reset the market because it's atop the market with a quarterback who's one of the best in football. By my summation, the second best in Joe Burrow. But Shady will say Josh Allen, and then he'll say Joe Burrow. So even the discrepancy on the desk means that Trevor Lawrence is making as much as a top 3 quarterback in football and making more than everybody else. Shady, you've been very opinionated.
Or honest.
Or honest, yeah, about Trevor Lawrence. Family, if y'all haven't laughed yet today, prepare yourself. Shady, did the Jags pay Trevor Lawrence too soon?
Too soon, too much, all that. All the above. Yes. When I look at Trevor Lawrence, like, what makes you want to pay him so much money? Seriously, though, what?
Upside.
Yeah.
That's all you look. See that? You just praying.
Trying to help you.
Lord, we hope his upside is good.
I'm trying to help you.
But is that what it is, really? Because when I watch him, I don't see that. You know what's funny? They told me that years ago that this kid from Clemson would be one of the biggest prospects we ever seen, right? They told me that he'd be one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen. They said that. When I watch him, I don't see nothing close to that. All these other guys in the top 6 that have $50 million contracts, right? Now Trevor Lawrence, he's at 55. You got Joe Burrow. He making the same amount as Joe Burrow. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's just mind-blowing. Joe Burrow, you got Jared Goff, you got Justin Herbert, you got Lamar Jackson, you got Jalen Hurts. On all them dudes, he don't even fit. You know why? He's last at winning percentage, he's last at completions, he's last at giveaways, he's last at passing ratings. So I say
Hold on, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you, big dog. What'd you say?
You heard what I said? Out of all the quarterbacks that's making that type of money, averaging 50, he's last in all them categories for a reason. Because when I look at him, I don't look at them and see in the same light. Trevor Lawrence is a player that's been surrounded by superstars his whole career. High school, great players. College, I mean, do you want to name them on offense and defense? But now we get to the league of the elites of the elite because everybody, in my opinion, is good in college. When you give the best players, what do you look like? He looks up, he's above average to me. Yeah. The problem nowadays is that we are focusing only on the quarterback. So now if you are a decent quarterback, you are getting paid all this money, and it has to stop because other positions like wide receivers, like running backs, we are not getting our true value. A team like the New York Giants had the nerve to pay Daniel Jones before they paid Saquon Barkley. That really happened in real life. Look at Trevor Lawrence, though. Seriously, though. When you pay a guy this type of money, can you compete at that high level? Because what has he really done? You get to the playoffs, y'all was getting smoked, right? And as a team collapse for the Chargers, then y'all come back. I don't see a whole bunch of talent that everybody talks about. When I turn on his tape, I don't see what all the hype is about. My last thing is this with Trevor Lawrence. We are in a world that Trevor Lawrence is making the same amount of money yearly as Joe Burrow. Super Bowl contending Joe Burrow. We're in the same world that a guy like Trevor Lawrence is making more money than Jared Goff, taking the sorry Lions for all these years to the playoffs, a conference game, playoff game. Wow. We're in a true world where Jalen Hurts, right, despite what you think about him, this and the third, he took his team to the Super Bowl.
Second-round pick.
Second-round pick did that. We're in a world that a guy like Justin Herbert, right, who hasn't done a lot in the playoffs, right? But if you look at him as a talented and the things he's done and accomplished stats-wise, we've never seen a quarterback who had better years in the first 3 or first 4 years, correct?
Correct.
So I can name all these different things. Yo, we're in a world.
What kind of world we in, Shady?
We're in a world where this guy, Trevor Lawrence, makes more than Patrick Mahomes yearly. That's really going on. We're in a world today, though, right? Like, we really living and breathing in a world where Trevor Lawrence is making more money than Josh Allen.
I'm waiting on a 2-time MVP, though.
We're in a world.
What kind of world are we in?
Trevor Lawrence is making more. Is making more than Lamar Jackson. That's what we in. I'm done with this, though, bro. You know why? Because I'm tired of people telling me, well, that's what the market is, right? And I hate to say this because I want everybody to get their money. Of course. But we got to stop the money with the quarterbacks, right? Unless they earn it and deserve it, like the guys I just talked about, then they don't get it. Because I'm tired of seeing dudes like Baker Mayfield, they're giving him $100 million? You was just bouncing from team to team because it's the market. Daniel Jones, you shouldn't even be in the league, let alone playing and getting a $100 million contract. And then the last one, Trevor Lawrence. He should get money. He's not in their category. He should get money. But he shouldn't get $55 million a year just because you are a quarterback. That's bull crap. And all the other running backs that go through this, if you're not a Saquon, well, he got lucky and got his money. But if you're not a guy like CMC, Christian McCaffrey, or Alvin Kamara, you probably won't get your money.
Catch
That's
those
terrible.
passes.
That's terrible,
I
dog.
don't. The world that he described, I can't believe I'm living in it.
Yeah.
And you sleeping, you eating it, all of it.
I can't believe I'm living in it. It sounds like a dystopian society in my mind, Dave Helman. Dave, did the Jags pay Trev too soon?
And what world are you living in?
The Jacksonville Jaguars, honestly, for a team, they've picked at the top of the draft a lot in recent years. They're often a punchline. The Jags deserve a standing ovation for getting this done as early as they did. It's one of the smarter things the Jacksonville Jaguars have done in recent memory, honestly. Actually, I got a whole.
Start over. Say that again.
They deserve applause for getting this done as early as they did. 2 years ahead of time. This is the way it works in the modern era. In the world we're living in, you can extend a player after his third NFL season.
Sure.
So they got Trevor extended as quickly as they possibly could because they know whether Shady likes it or not, the price only goes up. Quick, I got a whole argument
If
later.
they're playing well.
I want
And
the
he
argument.
is. Okay.
All right, because Shady could.
I got the
Shady
whole.
could. I need my dog to cook.
I will throw.
let him go.
I'll throw
You got
what
the microwave.
Let me go here, and answer briefly because I'll agree with you.
Of course.
To this point in his career, has Trevor Lawrence earned this type of money?
No, sir.
Ooh, I almost Kurt. No.
I agree. I agree. So he got it, right?
Yes, sir.
So that means in 2 years, all he has to do is not impress you, and he could sign this deal for $65 million? That's the world we're living in,
Not
guys.
on my team, though, Dave.
Right.
Or if
On an
somebody else want to
NFL
pay my
team,
money,
guys,
that's on them.
He's fifth in passing yards over the last 2 years. He's top 6 in touchdown passes over the last 2 years. He doesn't
Go to
turn
stats.
25 for 2 more years. And that's what I was going to go to with Shady is we got to stop looking at these contracts like a reward or a statement about the pecking order of who's better and who's worse.
Okay.
That's not how it works.
How do we look at him?
It's an investment. It's an investment in a 24-year-old quarterback who's played 3 years, won his division once, won a playoff game already, been to a Pro Bowl once, gotten the winning record in his second year. They were fighting for the 1 seed in the AFC last year before things fell off the cliff in the last month of the season. That's not to justify, but the glimpses are there that Trevor Lawrence is a quarterback that you can build around, and he's just 25 years old, basically. And this is the part that I love so much. You get it done early, which actually makes it easier to build a team around because Trevor Lawrence's big boy money doesn't start hitting the Jags until 2026. This is a 7-year deal because he had 2 left on his rookie deal, a 5-year extension. He's under contract with the Jags until 2031. That allows you to restructure, to manipulate the cap hits, to push his costs down so you can surround him with a badass team if you are so inclined. Hopefully that's what the Jags decide to do next. Hopefully the Jags say, hey, this quarterback that we invested $270 million in, he's not going to be eating up our salary cap for 3 more years. Let's go get him better offensive linemen. Let's go get him better receivers. Let's do everything we can to push our chips in with this kid. It's an investment for the future. He's 25 years old. I don't think he's the best quarterback in the NFL by any stretch of the imagination.
God.
To go back to what Shady said, Shady listed off all these guys. Of the 10 highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, 3 have played in a Super Bowl. That's just not how this stuff works. It is the most valuable position in the game. Shady, you're an amazing running back. I get why that bothers you, but the rules of this game are skewed toward this position. It's the most important position in the sport.
It should be, though, but it's more of my thing is the guys that earn that, right, and you can see the talent, you can see how good they are, you can see the things they've done and accomplished, they deserve all that money. All that $50 million and all that, you can get all that. But what has he done? What has he led? Only thing he's ever led is that since he got in the league, he has the most picks. That's the only thing he's led.
I don't think it's about what he's done. I think it's about what he can do. And this is a bet by the Jags to say, we think Trevor can get us there in the future, and we're buying early, which I disagree with you. They actually bought low. I know that sounds crazy for a guy that's now making $55 million a year.
How in the world can you suggest they bought low, sir?
Because Jordan Love, Tua Tagovailoa, Dak Prescott are all due for new deals, and they'll probably sign them, if not before the start of the season, then by March. Trevor Lawrence might be a fringe top 5 most expensive quarterback in the league by October. That is totally by August. Forget October. That's totally possible. And for them to jump in front of all of those teams and whatever teams might be coming later, it's a bargain. And when this deal actually kicks in 2 years from now, this will look fantastic.
Question,
That's why the Jags are smart for doing it.
Why not do Trevor Lawrence like the Ravens did Lamar Jackson?
Right.
Make Trevor Lawrence play out the next 2 years of his deal. He ain't costing you a lot because he's on his rookie deal. His fifth-year option would be somewhere in the low $20 million.
23,
so
I think.
23 mil. So you get him cheap this year. You get him cheap next year. You've already tried to build around him. You've drafted a first-round pick the year he was drafted at the running back position. You drafted a first-round pick at the wide receiver position you know well this year from LSU. You acquired Calvin Ridley last year. You've tried to build around Trev. Why not just see, hey, Trev, let's confirm what you got. Because if we're being honest, Trevor Lawrence and Doug Peterson got to be tethered together. And we know Doug ain't tethered there through 2030. So I would just say, hey, let's play out these next 2 years. Let's see if we can get a Super Bowl out of you. I think it's possible because of Doug Peterson and what Doug Peterson has shown us he's capable of doing with my former roommate, Nick Foles. So I think it's possible. You saw they took the Chiefs to the fourth quarter and about 3 minutes left just 2 years ago in the playoffs. Why jump the gun so quickly is where I'm at. I'm not saying don't pay Trev. They just didn't need to pay him right here, right now.
I think this is the classic dichotomy that you always see. Quarterbacks want fewer years and teams want more. Right? You see veteran, Kirk Cousins is a great example. When you get to that stage of your career, you can sign 3-year, 4-year deals, gives you more opportunities to sign, gives you more guarantees. Quarterbacks want fewer years, teams want more. And that's why I think this is so big for the Jags to say, we got you for 7 years now. Again, that's a lot of time to manipulate your cap hit, to restructure if you need to. So I think having more years in a weird way, I mean, you're going to wind up paying that money anyway, but it makes it easier to deal with the size of a contract like this, to have somebody under contract for more years. The earlier you can do it, almost always, it's better.
Did the Jags pay Trevor Lawrence too soon? That's the question.
That is the question.
That's the question.
They didn't pay. I mean, they paid him as soon as they could. I would say they didn't pay him soon enough. They could. If they paid him in March, it'd be even better, because then they would have gotten in front of Goff and a couple other guys. But no, they did not pay him too soon. They paid him right on time.
Did the Jags pay Trevor Lawrence too soon?
What's your answer?
That's the question you must ask.
I'm guessing you'd feel differently from me.
They gave this man $55 million for proving nothing. Wow. Because we can touch on any quarterback in the National Football League and say he had spurts. And I argue with Shady about a particular quarterback that had some solid spurts. But what he does not do is win or make his team better. He has 2 years left on his deal, and he hasn't shown us, if we really keeping it a buck, he has not shown us that he's a franchise quarterback, and we paid him like a franchise quarterback. They had a similar dude before Trevor Lawrence got there.
Minshew? Or,
and I'm gonna put this up on the screen just to show y'all, because you paid a dude 2 years early that has not proven nothing. 50 games, 49 games started.
Wait.
This can't be right.
58 touchdown passes, 59 touchdown passes. 60 turnovers, 41 turnovers. The man picture that you see is the highest paid quarterback, or you can say tied, with $55 million a year. And the other quarterback is another future Hall of Famer in Gardner.
Minshew. Come on, I told you I said that.
And Gardner Minshew.
Come on, man.
So, only reason why I show that is because I agree with Shady. We cannot reward average play just because you're at the quarterback position and pay you at the highest mark. If you're an average receiver, you don't get Justin Jefferson money. That's just the way it's set up. You got to be a top dog. Will you make solid money? Sure. If Trevor Lawrence was around $40 million, a Kirk Cousins, a Baker Mayfield, because that's the quarterback he is, we're good with that. But you're telling me just because you're next and you're not really a good player yet, you could be. I don't know what he's going to turn in, but what you showed us right now is not $55 million worth. If you're a running back and you do not ball, you do not reset the market because you're up next. If you're a receiver and you do not ball, you do not reset the market because you're up next. So my thing is pay the quarterbacks off of how they play. Do you need quarterbacks to win? Absolutely. But pay them how they play. $40 million, is perfectly fine for Trevor Lawrence. That's what Kurt is around. That's what Baker's around. That's what he has shown, the type of quarterback and skill sets and all that winning-wise that he is. Pay him around that. You're not a Joe Burrow. Winning-wise. You're not a Justin Hurts. You're not a two-time MVP Lamar Jackson. You're not a Patrick Mahomes. You're not a Josh Allen.
Yes,
so you should not be resetting the market, getting that money at $55 a year just because you play quarterback and you're the next man up. Because now it's dudes that's coming up behind him that's going to reset it too that really ain't like that, but they better than him. Because Jordan Love is going to reset the market. He's shown he could be better than Trevor Lawrence. Tua's going to reset the market. People have mixed things on Tua. You know, and then you have Dak that's going to get 60. I know how I feel about Dak. Some people ain't high on Dak, but Dak is not a top guy in our league. Right. And just because you're a quarterback, you're going to reset the market. That has to stop. Pay the quarterbacks by how they play.
We cooking this block. Let me just get in there a little something. Let me just add a couple spices, a couple cayenne. You know what I'm saying? Let me add a little hot sauce. I believe that Trevor Lawrence is still getting paid off of what he did at Clemson. I'm going to let that dust settle.
Because we said upside.
I'm going to let that settle. Trev's getting paid not because of what he's done in the NFL. He's getting paid because of what he did in Clemson. Because what he did at Clemson allowed us to think about this marvelous upside that we have not seen on a consistent basis. We've seen it at times, no doubt about it, like Shady's talked about, like Dave's talks about. We've seen flashes, but you cannot pay a quarterback $55 million a year because of some flashes. You got to pay him because of what he does consistently. If Trevor Lawrence was drafted where Brock Purdy was drafted, he likely would be a backup. But he was drafted #1 overall, and he was heralded as one of the most talented prospects that we have seen since Andrew Luck. And as a result, he's the highest paid quarterback on an average annual value in the National Football League. So we got to start assessing the talents based upon what they're doing in real time, not what they did in past times. Where I'm at with it, Dave Helman, is he's really getting paid because of the name on the back of the jersey. He's getting paid because that last name says Lawrence, and I just can't justify right now 55 amps.
There's 2 points that I liked here between you and me. Number one, if I was going to come up with a criticism of Trevor Lawrence, my dude, cut out the fumbles, please. I think he's got 60 of them over 3.
Most turnovers since he got in the league.
So many turnovers. Got to clean that up. I think it's a valid point. Guys drafted #1 overall, they get a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. They get plot armor. You know, like you get more second chances, you get more opportunities. I still think this is a bet worth making. And I think what has happened in Jacksonville is proof positive of that. Because, again, how often does it set up this way? Remember, Jags were terrible. They stole the #1 overall pick from the New York Jets in 2021. They picked #1 back-to-back. That's how bad they were. They happened to have the #1 overall pick in a year where they didn't even have to think about it. They got the prince who was promised. They got this kid, the most hyped player ever. Yep. And here we are. That's how hard quarterback is. That's how hard the NFL is. We're still not completely sold on this guy. So what are the Jags' options? To try again and hope that they do better?
You got 2 years on him though, still.
2 years on.
2 years to see that.
I already made the point though. The easiest way to build around a quarterback is to lock him in for years, in my opinion.
So really quick, because I just showed Gardner Minshew.
Yes.
So if Gardner Minshew goes to the Las Vegas Raiders, and we all have our opinions of Gardner Minshew, right?
He's
not
a serviceable quarterback. He's a solid quarterback.
But let's say he goes out here to Las Vegas and he leads the Raiders to the playoffs. He deserves to get $55 million?
Ooh. I'd have to see what the season looked like. I mean, if he balled.
Dave, look at the player, Dave. No, I'm saying look at the player. Like, he deserves to get $55 million?
Based on what I've seen from Gardner to this point in his career, no.
That's all I'm saying. What we have seen from Trevor Lawrence at this point of his career is an average quarterback. Wait. You might not be average after next year. You know what it's going to cost us? 2 more extra million. Yep. Whoop-de-doo.
No, when
and Gardner's he's at 2 years, what, 25 million, something like that.
Yeah.
Guys, when you say 2 more extra million, it's so much more than that. In 2022, go back you're talking about waiting. You got 2 years on Trevor. You know what the record-setting number was? It was Kyler Murray at $46 million a year. It's jumped $10 million in 2 years. So a year, 2 years from now, again, let's assume Jordan Love's going to sign soon. Tua Tagovailoa probably will as well. When Dak signs, whether it's with the Cowboys or whoever, it's going to start with the 6, as James said earlier. Just get ready for that. So a year from now, you could be talking about 62, 63 for Trevor Lawrence. You could be talking about 65.
But Dave, the issue is this, though. Everybody you just named, them dudes show flashes of, okay, this could potentially be our franchise quarterback. I haven't seen that yet from Trevor. Have you?
Yes.
Yes. You have?
Yes.
Where?
You said flashes, right?
I mean, like,
yes.
yeah, like this dude could be.
Look, you're not going to like this, Shady.
He's not that, yo, real talk.
Shady's going to hate this.
He's not that good like that, though. He's above average player.
Shady's going to hate that. I don't think there are a lot of guys on planet Earth, and I know he hasn't shown it.
Say that again?
I'm not done. I told you he wasn't gonna like
you
it.
said something about planet what?
There are not very many people on planet Earth with the talent of Trevor Lawrence, the mobility, the size, the arm talent, all of that stuff. He is a total package type of player. Has he shown it on a regular basis?
Type of player.
Yes. Yes, Shady. You're talking about a guy who's got as good of an arm as there is. It's not the strongest arm in the NFL, but it's up there on that list, and he's got the athleticism. I said it to you.
So why he don't? So if
he can give you 30 yards on the ground one play after making a throw that only like 5 other guys can make.
If that's the case, why we don't see this played in? Because he don't look that good. For all to have all these great tools and talent and arm strength and he don't look that good when he plays.
He's 24 years old.
And that's what he gives me. He's not that good for real, but he's 24 years old. I can't do this,
I think he's better. I think
bro.
he's better than you give him credit for.
Would you say he's above average?
He's definitely above average.
But here's the dilemma,
He's
though,
a fringe top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Top 10?
Yes.
Think about what Burrow gave you before 25, a Super Bowl appearance. What Jalen Hurts gave you before 25, a Super Bowl appearance. What Patrick Mahomes gave you before 25, MVP, Super Bowl appearance, and a win. What Lamar Jackson gave you before 25, I believe 2 MVPs and playoff appearances.
No. I can't let you do that.
What happened?
Because when Lamar was up for his contract, it was like, but where are the playoff wins? Where's the Super Bowl he's supposed to get you to?
Yeah, but we've seen Lamar as a player, though.
And we seen franchise in him.
They made Lamar work 2 years longer than he needed to do it.
So that's the point there. So why not make Trevor Lawrence? Because Lamar won an MVP.
No, because saving money is the smarter play in the long run than making him prove it.
Knowing you have the guy is the smartest play ever. Knowing you have the guy.
I think Trevor Lawrence is as close as they're going to get to the guy.
Do you think he's
knowing that you can't have Lamar, Joy always says that, right? This is her chair. Knowing you can't have Lamar, knowing you can't have Mahomes, knowing you can't have Josh Allen. I always say this.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.